another amazing week here at the WGL APAC-ASIA Gold Series. My name is Susie Kim, this is Wolf Schroeder, and we are here for another, I think today's day number 12, is it?
Yeah, I believe so, and it's going to be a great day of matches because we've got EL coming back into the scene, Karen Tigers playing again today as well. And, you know, I think when you just see those two names in the list of matches, that just gets you really pumped.
I mean, it does get me pumped, and I'm sitting here wondering how EL is going to do because obviously Super Noobs have taken that first place ranking, and, you know, them coming in today, we got to see if they're still that strong team as we remember them.
That's right. Well, let's take a look at our overview for the matches for tonight. Oh, well, not only tonight, but of course the entire tournament started on November 26th and went to the 4th of February. Now these are of course still best of nines with tiebreaker potential, and it's going to be an 8-team double round robin.
Yep, and the game rules, guys, it's same as always, attack and defense. But again, this season we are at 10 minutes per round, and the tank tier limit now is up to 10. So you can use 68 points to do whatever you want with it. Our map pool: Mines, Cliff, Ruhenberg, Himmelsdorf, Steps, Prokhorovka, Prokhorovka, I can say this, guys. One of these days I will do it. And Ghost Town. And so, yeah, we've lost a couple maps from last season, but we've added some great ones instead. And the points: 3 points for victory, 2 points if you win in a tiebreaker, 1 if you lose in a tiebreaker, and then if you just flat out lose, that's 0 points for the ranks.
That's right. So, you know, just basically the same ideas as last season with the map changes that you mentioned, as well as, you know, the new Tier 10 system.
Yep, let's go ahead and show you the teams here that have been participating in this series so far. We've been, like we said, been doing this since November 26th. EL Gaming, Horsemen, Super Noobs, Immortals. Then we have the Karen Tigers, the Super Friends, Team Efficiency, and B Gaming. EL and Super Noobs, like the two teams that are just powerhousing their way through this right now.
Yeah, and Super Noobs is actually currently in first place with 7 points above EL. Now they have played a few more matches than EL. In fact, they're 3 matches ahead of EL, but still, let's see how EL does today. Karen Tiger as well, not in second place this time, but in fact currently down in 5th place behind B Gaming. So really important games for both teams, I would say.
It is so weird to see Karen Tigers down that low on this ranking list right now. I'm trying to see how many games that they've played. They've played now 8 games as well. So, I mean, they still have a bit of catch up to do for sure. But yeah, I mean, all these teams really showing us that they are coming here to win.
Yeah, so you guys can take a closer look at that. You know, the games played versus the points that Susie was talking about. If you look at EL Gaming and Karen Tiger, usually EL is like right on the edge above Karen Tiger, like a win or 2 ahead maybe. But if you look at it, they've actually played the exact same amount of games, 8. 7-1 for EL versus Karen Tiger's 4-4. By far the worst performance so far. We've seen them even starting off this season really well, being second place behind EL, and last season being second place behind EL. But right now, halfway through at 4-4, not where you want to be.
No, and you know, it's interesting because B Gaming had said in an interview that they just really want to beat the Karen Tigers. They're both teams from Japan, and obviously last year Karen Tigers showing us an incredible performance. B Gaming wants to be able to do better than that. And as of right now, they have 5 wins, 4 losses, and they will be playing again today as well. So we'll have to take a look how Karen Tiger and B Gaming fare, and you know, where they're going to stand at the end of the day.
That's right. So it's going to be a great set of matches today. I feel like especially most fans are interested to see EL Gaming because it's been a long time. The Super Noobs have outshined them in this league this season so far. But they haven't played against each other yet because EL unfortunately weren't able to make the last match they played, and you know, we'll see how well EL plays today.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's go into today's matchups. Like we said, we had Karen Tigers versus Team Efficiency for the first game. Then we have B Gaming versus EL Gaming. And then match 3 would be Super Friends versus the Immortals. And I mean, Karen Tigers versus Team Efficiency. Team Efficiency right now not performing at the best of you know, they're down there on the bottom of the ranks, and so it might be an easier day for Karen Tigers than it would be for B Gaming going up against a team like EL.
But you know, keep in mind, B Gaming has been on a tear recently.
That's true.
Doing very, very well. They're kind of on a bit of a streak right now. They did pass Karen Tiger. They had a rough start to the season, but now at 4-4, they're kind of at the middle of the ground, or actually 5-4, I should say. And then the Super Friends versus the Immortals, our final match of the night. I would say that most people would give the Immortals the edge there, but I think that will probably be the closest match of the three, if I had to guess.
I have to agree with that, Wolf. So yeah, that's going to be like our big finale match, I suppose, for tonight. And hopefully you are rested up from the weekend and you are able to sit there and watch all the games all the way to match number 3, because that's probably going to be the closest one. I think. I mean, I could be totally wrong.
I have to agree.
All right, well, let's go ahead and show you these team rosters. We have the Karen Tigers playing first. Karen Tiger, again, a team tried and true. They've always been very, very good. This team, I just want to say they like to follow the book, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
They're very, very good at following through a strategy that they've come up with. And a team that doesn't like to really switch up their tanks either. But, players to look out for. We have Polly, Aki, Pitsit, Shinoza for sure has been definitely pulling his weight in Tepco, usually on that tier 8 or tier 9 tank. This is a very solid team.
It really is. They just haven't looked as polished this season, which is somewhat worrisome, but they still have time to catch up. I mean, they're definitely still in the running for getting playoffs, and it's just surprising to see them at a 4-4 score. Now, team efficiency, unfortunately, yet to take a real big
win.
Yeah, like they only have won one match this entire season versus the Super Friends, who's just one rank above them.
And that was through a tiebreaker too. That was
barely winning that one, but this team has some great players. We saw them perform last season really well, and they've changed up their roster a lot. And I feel of all the teams that have changed their rosters the most this season, I feel like Team Efficiency has added the most value.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're seeing new players like Momiji, Skell, Nomad. These players, Safi as well, do really well, and they have such a great flexible lineup. I just feel like it's still not enough for them yet right now.
Right. And again, Team Efficiency, this is a team where each member is from all around Asia. You know, I think their captain is from Australia, but everyone else from all different countries around Asia. So I'm going to put it at possibly maybe like a network problem, or the fact that they're not all in the same region that may kind of help add to that distrust.
Sure.
Right?
I feel like also the level of play this season is much higher than last season. Yeah. Everyone got a lot better. Even Horsemen are looking like so strong this season. And Team Efficiency was not like top tier last season either. They were like above the bottom. You know, they managed to stay in Gold Series. But this season we've got 2 new teams in here that are looking really good, like Super Noobs all the way up at the top and Super Friends just above Team Efficiency. You know, things got tougher, and I feel like Team Efficiency, might still be able to get out of Silver League yet.
All right, well, let's take a look at the maps that they have chosen for this first matchup. It's going to be Himmelsdorf first, then we have Ghost Town, Cliff, and Prokhorovka, the tiebreaker being on Steps. So Steps is like the number 2 map to be tiebreaker, it seems.
Yeah, and Cliff has been a lot more popular recently in the normal 4 maps. Himmelsdorf we saw last week one time did not appear, but will be appearing today, at least in our first match, as the first map. So Himmelsdorf and Ghost Town still the top 2. Interesting map missing from this lineup of the first match is Mines actually will not be appearing, so we're going to have both Cliff and Prokhorovka potentially.
Oh yeah, interesting. I didn't realize that. I mean, having them start on Himmelsdorf I think is a really good first map pick, because it's a map, again, everyone knows very well, everyone's very used to playing on it, and it also allows you to have a very varied strategy play. What's the word I'm looking for? It allows you to have different strategies.
Yeah, you have so much more to work with because the map is played so much, and the map has changed a lot. Even though, like you said, it's a map everyone's comfortable with and everyone knows really well, we're seeing new strategies evolve towards the western capture point where the railroad tracks are. We're seeing teams do different pushes with E100s even to the A6 capture point. So it's a map that's seen a lot of evolution, and that makes it a lot of fun.
That is true. All right, well, already I think the teams are ready to get into the game. We're just going to wait for us to get the okay. And yeah, let's get right into set number 1. All right, guys, we are here. Set number 1 on this lovely Monday evening. Karen Tiger versus Team Efficiency, and Karen Tiger will be on the attack first.
Now, the first thing you'll notice right off the bat about Karen Tigers, they're running a different skin for all their tanks. It's pretty cool. And in fact, every member of the team has an S2 tag, notably probably for Season 2, but that's really cool. So let's talk about the tanks themselves. Karen Tiger's on the attack first, so they're bringing those 3 E100s I was talking about. The most interesting thing is they're running an IS-4 and 2 Bat-Shats on the attack. So Karen Tiger's been the team I've been talking about a lot for running 2 autoloaders with their lineups, whether they're 50Bs or more commonly these Bat-Shats, but I like it a lot. For team efficiency, they're bringing a tank destroyer. In fact, 2 of them, even a tier 8 tank destroyer, the one that we saw a little bit last season, an E3 as well. Wow, so they've got a cool lineup, plus an IS-4 and an IS-7. So this is already starting to be a pretty weird lineup of these 2 teams because we don't really see tanks built quite like this way.
You know what I noticed? That Team Efficiency has the blue skins too. I think this is a new
it must
UI
be for, like,
for us, so that it's easier for us to be able to see which tank belongs to which team.
It's really cool because before, actually, we'd have so many different tanks, so it'd be hard to tell what's going on.
You know what else? Obelisk is back.
Oh my god!
I just realized that too.
Oh my god!
Woo! I am super happy about that.
I didn't recognize him when he wasn't on the
An
bird.
SPG, I know. But Obelisk is on the 1390. And yeah, so right now we could see that Karen Tiger, they have 2 tanks up by the castle side. They are just going to stay over on the east side of this map as of right now. But Team Efficiency doing a very good job having all bases covered. They have an IS-7 over by the base capture number 1, as well as a tank destroyer over by the A6 point.
Okay, well this is going to be a really interesting showdown here. I really like the new UI too. It makes the tanks look just so much more distinguishable, I would say.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we'll get our rounds back in the left and the right side of the screen, but one can dream for now. And Modame is poking through this little sniper spot here. He's going to see if he can find anybody on the other side of the courtyard. Unfortunately, no one to be seen. The Team Efficiency has done a good job so far of eating up the clock here.
Absolutely, and like I said, they're just in a really good position right now to have all their bases covered. They want to make sure that they can take a look up the castle side, and that's going to be the A0 position. They have that covered.
Yeah.
Just in case someone comes down there. I mean, they're just waiting. They're going to sit and wait.
It almost looks like they're considering pushing up towards the castle where Obelisk is, and Obelisk is very exposed right now. In fact, we're seeing it off screen. It's off screen. You can see on the minimap. I think he actually just took a shot at them and probably is going to have to leave, because if he gets hit by any of those E100s, he's pretty much as good as dead. In fact, it's a 215B.
Yeah, they're going to push on up the 50B and the 215B. They're going to try to get up onto this high ground.
Now, Obelisk is in a bad spot. It's going to be tough for him to escape. He's got to go now. If he waits any longer, he's not going to make it. Okay, looks like he might barely just get out. Safi doesn't see him yet. Okay, he escapes.
He does escape.
Shinoza's still reloading from, looks like, trying to do some damage earlier. No one has taken damage this game.
Not yet, and we are under 7 minutes now. I'm not sure how I feel about Team Efficiency pushing upwards, though. I mean, they really are in a place where they could sit and wait, you know, and they have the clock on their side. But with that push, however, and Obelisk knowing, it looks like Team Efficiency has control of the high ground now.
Now let's see if Safi can capitalize on that, because there's a ton of tanks exposed right now in the courtyard. I don't think he knows that yet.
Yeah, they are not close enough. All right, Itis takes the first shot. Huwami takes a bit of damage.
Yeah, Modame also took a little bit of damage earlier, so this is a bit scary. If that 50B actually really was paying attention, could do so much damage right now. It looks like now he's trying to, just hits Polly, and going to take a second shot on Polly as well. This is not looking good for Karen Tiger position-wise right now at all.
Yeah, Team Efficiency taking that high ground, definitely benefiting them right. And Polly, wow, down to under 1,000 HP.
I mean, look at this. Team Efficiency just took its first damage on Safi right now, and I think it was Obelisk who shot him.
Ooh, Skell, very well done. As for Mob, behind the rubble, he's going to take their shot. Good positioning right now by Team Efficiency. If they can just continue in this way and continue to connect these shells, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, Skell doing some serious damage there on that tank destroyer, and I mean, just looking at the situation, I can't see Karen Tiger really turning this one around. Dex does on an IS-4, so he's well protected here.
He is well protected. He is all by himself, though. He is absorbing a lot of damage, but we're going to have to see how much he can dish out before he goes down. There's 3 tanks shooting at him.
Safi is going to come around and try to hit from behind, it looks like. And that's where Shinoza is really going to have to shine. Oh, Polly getting super low.
Really good. All right, Dexter off a little off screen. We can see that he finally did get hit. But yeah, as of right now, very good beginning for Team Efficiency.
All right, here we go. That tier 8 tank destroyer. Can Death Skies finish?
Can Death Skies finish
Ollie.
him off? Oh, Dekamori is the first one to go down, but so does Skell. It's a 1-for-1. Now it's a 2. 2 tanks down.
All right, it's going to take a miracle for Karen Tiger to win this. Shinoza misses his shots as well. Opalisk trying to help out with his excellent accuracy,
Ooh,
but
Akiv and Shinoza both going down. So does Hawami. They are down to 2 tanks now. Opalisk is like, uh-oh. I'm by myself. I gotta get out of here.
This is not looking like a good start here for Karen Tiger. Well, make no mistake, Tanks fans, this game is over, but the question is how are Karen Tiger going to play in Game 2 on the defense?
Wow, I'm impressed right now by Team Efficiency. Like I said, there was no need for them to push, but obviously they knew what they were doing. They had a plan, and yeah, Focus Fire takes down one more member of the Karen
Opolis,
Tigers.
the last man standing. I wanted to see you for so long, Opolis, but not like this.
Not like this. It's all right.
Well, this is only game 1, yeah. But I feel like, yeah, from the outside looking in, it seemed like Team Efficiency had a better understanding. Oh, hold that thought. Team Efficiency will win this first game, but I feel like they had a better understanding of the situation in that game, and I have to question the choice of Karen Tiger to send those tanks through the courtyard when they saw, Opolis saw a 50B go up to that high ground because that 50B did so much damage to those tanks in the courtyard, the E100s and the 215B. And then by the time they got around the corner, that's when an IS-4 was sitting there doing tons of damage as well, and it was just not a good place.
Yeah, and Dexter on that IS-4, very well done, hiding in a perfect position where he can still dish out damage and absorb a ton of it. There was a lot of shots fired at him that he didn't even take.
They didn't even penetrate. Now, just looking at how the evolution of the IS-4 is being used on this map, it used to only be used to defend the A6 capture point, but now we're seeing defensive teams push to that little, like, I don't know what to call it, like hide behind the rubble little pocket over there. Like starting with Ironhide was the first player to really do this consistently, and now we're seeing other players even on Team Efficiency use this now. That position is so strong because it gives you so much control of the east side of the courtyard, and no one can really go through that zone without encountering you. And you can't burst that tank down because it's an IS-4, so it allows reinforcements to come in and you just hold that line. While sometimes there are tanks on the high ground either trying to hit you or supporting you, in this case for Team Efficiency because they had those tanks up on the high ground. We'll see if Opalisk appears again. I would like to see him more. It looks like just seeing him in the lobby now, he is going to be. But, without him being on an SPG, he's not super high impact on this map.
I don't know. I'm just happy he's back, man. I mean, he must be back in Japan now after his business trip. Again, he was definitely a veteran player. Last year, he showed us amazing moves, and putting him back into the lineup, I understand why they would do it. It's like, oh, great player, let's put him back. But he hasn't played with this team all season long.
And we don't know.
Synergy might be a little bit off right now.
We don't know what server he's playing, or where he's playing from. If he's still in the States, like God knows what the ping must be like from there.
No, I would assume not. I'm going to say he's on vacation. He's back in Japan playing with the team. But yeah, like I said, he hasn't played all season long, so maybe he's just kind of a little rusty. Not sure. But it looks like game number 2 is ready, so let's get right into it. Okay, we are back into set number 2, back on Himmelsdorf, Karen Tiger versus Team Efficiency, and now it is Team Efficiency's turn to be on the attack.
So let's talk about their tanks first. They're bringing a 50B themselves, 3 E5s.
Wow.
That's kind of weird. And the TVP T50/51, the first time I think we've seen that in this league.
I think so too.
And a 215B for Karen Tigers. They're running the big E100 lineup, 4 of them, an IS-4, the Batshat, and then the Opalisk is going to be on the T54 lightweight, so a tank he's very familiar with from his days playing for them last season on that Tier 8 T54 lightweight. Now a big push forward currently for Karen Tigers actually to the A6 cap.
Ooh.
They might actually try to invade the high ground as well with how much further past they're pushing it now. Skill takes a shot at Shinoza, unsuccessful. kind of funny to have a Batshat guard.
I was going to say that. I don't know why this Batshat. I mean, it's a fast tank, but if it gets hit, they're going to lose out on a lot of damage. Huh.
Yeah, somehow avoiding damage from both autoloaders so far, so good on Shinoza for that.
Yeah. All right, here. So we could see, all right, I think the way that they're doing the colored tanks is the red ones are the attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless, I think the red ones are on the
Yeah, I
attack
think you're right.
and the blue ones are on defense. So new UI, this is fun. Fun.
It's always, you know, I guess for most fans watching, you know, something like tanks, it's always a bit jarring to see a new UI at first, but I think just thinking about it logically myself, like, I think it's better this way, so I'm kind of happy about it.
So last week there was a thing I think they told the players that they cannot use check tanks. Oh, hold on, let me get back to that. Dexter, what are you doing, dude? He's like just getting shot at from 2 different angles. That was bad positioning.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but the movement that we're seeing from Karen Tiger here was pretty aggressive. The problem is no one's watching capture point number 1.
No one is, and right now there's 4 members of Team Efficiency over there ready to capture that point.
Look at this tank shape. Like, the turret is so far to the front of it that T-Time, well, it's not even T-Time with like the shape of that tank. He's like basically curving around like Fantastic Four stretch character or something.
Oh, wow. Maw on the 1390, he's gonna hide behind that depot. Obviously, this base capture has started, and now members of Karen Tiger are going to come down for it. Safi goes down as well. That's going to be 2 tanks down for Team Efficiency. Griffs, I think Griffs and Scale, they're going to try to rush this capture point and hope that they're able to eliminate members of Karen Tigers.
It's going to be a tough battle, down 2 tanks already. I feel like they should have capitalized on their the lack of tanks in this area earlier, but they just weren't quite sure of the situation.
Oh, Death Skies does miss. They need to get rid of Polly right now so that he doesn't reset, but it does reset. Maw does get hit. Base capture is down to 36 seconds.
Grift still has his full capture on. Oh, he just barely stepped off by mistake.
Yeah, he did step off. Madame was on him, though. I mean, I understand why.
Yeah, I mean, he basically had no choice. It was either step off or get reset otherwise.
There goes Death Skies, and now it's 4 tanks standing for Team Efficiency. Whoop, let's make that 3.
It looks like it's going to be a clean sweep this game. I don't expect any of these tanks will go down for Karen Tiger. Shinoza coming in here. Down goes Grift, Idis, and Skell, the last 2 remaining. Make that just Idis.
Yep, Idis is going to just get focus fired down, and that's going to be it. Karen Tiger will go ahead and take game number 2.
Looks like a much more normal Karen Tiger here in this game. They made some questionable decisions in the previous game, but now we're tied up 1-1 going into our second map.
Indeed we are. What do you think that Team Efficiency did wrong in this one?
I don't know exactly how to really sum that one up. The tank that we saw, the 5051, I'm not 100% sure about.
Oh, that's what I was going to get on. It's a Czechoslovakian tank.
Okay, that's probably why I don't know
it's a tier 10 Czechoslovakian tank, and I know last week they had asked.
It was like banned last week, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know much about it except the shape of it was quite unique. I mean, that was my first time ever seeing it, like ever. So the shape was quite unique. Like the neck of the tank could kind of stick out and fire, while the body, like the hull of the tank, was actually protected. So that was all I really noticed about it. But when he left the castle area, it didn't seem like that tank could really hold its own versus tanks in a straight up fight. I think that the idea to go into the capture point was the absolutely best choice. But they only sent 1 tank in there instead of 3 at first. I think they could have been a bit more aggressive with that to force those tanks back into a bad position, because they just left a Batshat in there and then they didn't get into a solid position to protect it either, and then they were like, oh, I guess now we'll put the tanks in there.
Yeah, the 1390 getting in there, that was fine.
Yeah, it was a 1390 even, not a Batshat.
Yeah. I just wish they had done it a little sooner, because, well, you know what, though? We actually get to see the entire map, and we know for sure that there was no other tanks there. Obviously, Team Efficiency wouldn't have known that. But yeah, if they played a little bit more aggressively, maybe a little more confidently, it might have worked out better.
Yeah, I have to agree. Ghost Town is going to be our second map of the night, though, so we're going to jump into that one in just a moment here. The score is tied, so the winner of this next map will get a little bit of a momentum advantage going into our second map.
So I'm just going to go ahead and check to see. Karen Tiger are going to defend first.
Okay.
Yep, so they're on that cool blue and white-ish.
Yeah, that
looking
like
thing.
the other one looks like a little bit. The defense skin looks a little bit more like camo,
Yeah.
whereas the attack skin looks more like blood splatter or something.
Maybe that was the effect. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though, because before every user could just pick their own skins, which sometimes could be confusing to new viewers about like, oh, that's an IS-3, but IS-3s normally look different from that. Why does this one look different? You know, if you're not familiar with the skins and things like that. So now all the tanks have the same skin, and everyone in the game has an S2 tag. I guess making sure that they're like legal for season 2 or something like that. So they've got their own special season 2 account. So maybe they can practice on that. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, this is definitely new. We're actually just seeing it now. We haven't. We'll have to go talk to the producer and ask what the season 2 tag is. But I kind of like it. It maybe guarantees that it's an account that has no, what's the word I'm looking for? Because if you use a personal account, then maybe there's a benefit of some sort.
Sure, or there could be like these accounts are not allowed to like add friends or something, so no one could like friend message you or something in the game, or maybe like this is another way, like this could be just totally random, but maybe these are tanks that are allowed to practice on and use personally, and the S2 at the front means like this, maybe like only certain accounts can have that, and it's like a way to verify, like when you play against Obelisk and hit the S2, it's like, oh no, that's the real Obelisk, it's not just a fan.
Maybe that's
I don't know, I'm
true,
just like throwing ideas out.
Yeah, we're kind of theory crafting right now about what the S2 tag is, but it looks like Ghost Town is going to be the next one, and I think both teams are ready, so we will go ahead and start game number 3. All right, we are on Ghost Town. It is set number 3. Score is tied 1-1, and team efficiency will be on the attack.
So the first thing I want to draw everyone's attention to is that Obelisk will be on the M40, M43 SPG. So we're going to see that Obelisk SPG in action, Susie. It almost feels like nothing else matters to me at this moment in time. But to do the rest of the tanks, we got 2 Bat Shats again for Karen Tiger, 3 E100s and an IS-4, whereas team efficiency is running a 50B and a Bat Shat, 1 E5, 2 215Bs, and an E100 with Dexta on the RU251. Now, he might try to find Obelisk. Obelisk needs to be careful.
There is Obelisk. He is finding his position. He's like, oh, it's nice to be on an SPG again.
Yeah, this is going to be a real treat if you've never seen Obelisk play before. I guarantee he will hit some cool shots. And hopefully get some shots of that, no pun intended.
Karen Tigers, we've got 4 members here, the big, heavy tanks, going towards the base capture right in the middle. They're going to have to see how, look at that.
Picture. All right, so you can see he's taken a shot already. Unfortunately, that one did not connect. That was his second shot this game. The first one nearly hit Grifts. If you guys were looking on the big picture of things, you saw like the smoke right next to him. So he almost hit Grifts earlier. But this is going to give you a good idea of his reload times and when he's going to be firing. So always pay attention to that when you see the vision of the Karen Tigers, where he could be shooting.
Ooh, Itis takes a little bit of damage as he peeks out a little too far from the schoolyard.
And your theory about the colors seems to be correct, by the way, Susie, because they are red on the attack again.
Ooh, look at me.
All right, Obelisk is almost ready to fire again. I would guess he's probably going to fire on Maw and Itis' area, considering that's the information that they have the most of right now, that area.
Aki can definitely say that there are 2 tanks up on the schoolyard side. Go and do something, Obelisk.
Already fired. And he hit Momiji instead, actually. But hey, that's a lot of damage. Look how much damage he took on an E100. Already the best success we've seen on the M40, M43 this season, that one shot.
Dexta goes ahead and takes a bit of damage. Oh gosh. On that RU251, he's going to have to utilize that speed to get out of there if he wants to survive.
Yeah, he survived for a little bit longer until Shinoza found him.
It's, getting hit by a Bat Shat. That's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, when you've got that little health left as well. And Hawami's doing some serious work. He will get killed here, but definitely well worth it. Now, Obelisk is ready to fire again here in about another second. Okay, he's ready now. Let's keep a close eye on where he's going to fire. Safi is maybe going to look for him here.
All right, Maw takes a bit of damage, but so does Aki. Oh,
gosh, Obelisk fires.
Takes a lot of damage, actually.
No connection on that. Sanai goes down here.
Dekomori is down. It looks like they're going to try to focus on Polly if they can. Momuji, though, dies before he could.
This is a close game, actually. Really, really close. Polly goes down. a big tank advantage right now to team efficiency, especially considering Obelisk is on an SPG. A key goes down as well.
Yeah.
Shinoza needs to clean up here. Can he kill Safi? Yes, that's
he
really
does.
important.
He's got one shell left, though, and he just uses his Skell. However, Skell's just like, all right, if I can get to this guy.
It's funny because 2 of the tanks that are left are both bat shots are on reload, so they have to kind of escape right now. Obelisk hits Skell from all the way across the map. That's huge. Now Skell's almost reloaded. Can he hit Shinoza here? This is really important. If he can connect and kill Shinoza, that's basically the win here.
Can he
yes, nice
he
shot.
does. Skell does take it out. Wow.
Okay, now Obelisk, I don't know if he's really going to be able to do anything here. In fact, Skell is hunting for him right now, and he's on reload.
Okay, Obelisk is on reload.
I think Skell can actually one-shot the M40.
I know Modame had 2 shells left. Wow, that was easy.
Oh, I thought he died. I thought Skell died too. I was like, oh my god.
No.
I was like really scared. They changed the camera angle on me. Oh, Skell was reloading. That's risky.
He is on reload. Griffs and Ias are still on the board though.
Okay, so let's talk about like what could happen. Like Modame could, if he escapes long enough to reload, he could actually theoretically kill all 3 of these tanks. He's a bat shot, and basically each one of those tanks that are left could die to one shot.
In one shot, absolutely. Itis with 136 HP, Griff's at 240, and Skell with 427.
And Modame is at full health.
Oh gosh.
And he's on the defense, so they have to kill him or force a base capture. Looks like they're going to go for the base capture option here, which means they're all going to be in the same place, though. That's risky.
That is really risky. I'm not sure if that's the best idea. I think they're going to hunt for him.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Games with Karen Tiger and Obelisk always are, like, the best games of all time. They just are so fun to watch. Like, stuff like this happens all the time when Obelisk is playing. Because he's such a good SPG player that makes weird situations like this occur. All right, now Modame is going to come around the corner here. He knows where they're at. He has to rush over there. Oh, this is actually so crazy. He needs to get in there right now. He doesn't have a lot of time to work with, and he needs to be a sharpshooter. He cannot miss a single shot, or he will be blown up. Because Skell has full rounds on a 50B.
All right, well, 20 seconds on the base capture. Will Modame be able to make his way over there, kill these tanks off? Oh, gosh.
Oh, he's coming in.
Will he be able to finish this off?
Oh, he's coming in. Here he comes. He's coming around. This is crazy.
This is really crazy. I'm sure they hear him by now.
I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can do it. Can he do it? He's going to prove me wrong. They're looking the wrong way. Oh, and down goes Skell.
Oh, my God.
And Grift is in the way. He needs to move out of the way. Oh, my God. Okay, the base capture, still 14 seconds to go, but they're using that husk. He has to just run in. He has to go for it. Okay, can he get him?
One more shot. Oh, gosh. Can he do it?
He kills Itis with one more shot. No, he missed it. Oh, Grifts, can he finish it? Oh, my God.
Okay. Oh, my gosh.
He did it.
Grifts
I just couldn't say anything there.
What just happened?
Oh, whoa. That was a great game. That was like the best game this season, I think.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so Griffs, the MVP of team efficiency tonight. Oh, my goodness.
Also, Modame almost did it. I don't know what happened. I think something might have happened to his ammo rack because I think he should have had more rounds than he did there. But I was like looking at all the health and I got really excited, so I'm not 100% sure what happened there. But I feel like if he had just hit one more shot a little bit better, I think he actually has that game. Now, using the husk of the 50B was the right choice there. At first, I was a bit weirded out by that. I was like, is that 50B like really the one you want to have in the front here? Maybe it should have been in the middle. But because it's so big that it ended up protecting them in the end anyways. That was an incredible game. So hopefully, even though they're going to be on different sides now and it's less feasible, I hope we see Obelisk again on the SPG. And I'm looking at the tanks. I am looking at the tanks. I'm like, is it there? On it. So. Okay. All right. So this is like something that's been missing from Karen Tigers this whole season that we're finally now getting to see. Obelisk's first appearance this whole season, and we just saw his first game on an SPG as well, because obviously it's not viable in Himmelsdorf. And he did, I mean, of all the players we've seen play that tank, Obelisk, man, I want to shake his hand again. That guy really does know how to control SPGs very, very well with the communication of his teammates. Yeah, and the M4043 has a much longer reload time than the SPGs that we saw last season. So, you know, it's one of those things where your accuracy is even more important, because if you miss, and you have to wait so much longer before you can even be helpful to your team. Now, what's really exciting to me is we are going to go to Cliff later, and I feel like we haven't seen any SPGs on that yet, but I feel like Obelisk
might go ahead and pull that
yeah,
out.
especially on the attacking side, because the defensive side likes to kind of turtle up in the middle of the arena. I feel like the SPG could be really strong there. You know, try to hit one of those bat shots or one of the STBs in the middle. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, this is, wow, definitely not how I expected that game to turn out. Modame really did have a chance to do that, and all those tanks, all of those members really played exactly as they needed to.
Yeah,
you know?
like they went in the middle of the base capture. They were pretty close together to prevent the damage from being done. And, you know, they knew if they went in there early, it would force Modame out. Modame had to go there right away. And there was really basically no better way for either team to play that. So that was really, really cool.
All right, I think we are switching players, maybe. We will see that in just a bit. I didn't really get to catch which players that was being switched. But Ghost Town, switching sides. I think, this is really exciting. Let's go into game number 4. Set number 4, this is Karen Tiger versus Team Efficiency. Team Efficiency with 2 wins, Karen Tigers 1, and now it is Karen Tiger's turn to be on the attack.
Now, Karen Tigers, like you were talking about before, I think it's really important. They're basically running the same lineup as
Yeah, they
last
don't really
game.
like to change their
They really
lineups.
don't. Like, attack, defense, they're like, nah, it's just the map. It's not about attack, defense. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if you remember. Was Idis in here last time? I think he might have switched,
He was.
Okay.
No, I think there was, Momoji went out. It's now Death Skies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. All known now.
Ooh, look at that fancy camera work.
Fancy indeed. Well, let's keep a close eye on where Obelisk ends up. It looks like he is planning on going to the north. Or no, that's Shinoza, in fact. So he's actually just going to hide at the back of the map, it looks like, to the south east. I know my directions.
So right now all the tanks very spread out. Everyone just kind of getting a feel for the map. No one has sixth senses going off just yet. There's Idis on the RU-251. Idis is on it this time. Dexta on the IS-4.
I feel like Idis is trying to find out, is Shinoza going to be where the Batshot normally is, or are we going to see Opolis try to hide over there? Here's where Opolis is, like I mentioned before. He's down at like J0.
Yeah, he's like all the way in the middle of nowhere. But as long as he is able to take his shots, that would be wonderful. I don't care where he is on the map.
Now, I hope that we get to see more picture-in-picture shots of him. I know it's not going to be the most important right now, but OGN making some really cool production stuff happen. Looks like he did just fire. No connection, though.
No connection.
And it looks to be that Karen Tiger's going to try to control the outside instead of the inside. And where they're positioned currently, it looks pretty good for them. They should be able to control that zone.
Yep. I mean, smart team efficiency, just taking blind shots into the base capture area number 2, but not hitting anything. I think they realize, I think that is a member of Karen Tigers over in base capture number 1. Now there is Idis out there. Remember, he has full view of this, and he's going to be able to let his teammates know. It's just how is team efficiency going to play this out?
You know, it's just Pauly in there right now, but on an IS-4, it's hard to punish.
Hawami and Ma taking shots at one another right now, chipping away a bit of HP.
Now this could give Obelisk an opportunity.
There
exactly. I was exactly going to say this is like the time where he can shine because he now has vision of 2 tanks exactly where they are. All right, he's going to take a shot at Ma. Does not connect.
Does not connect.
I'm not actually sure. Oh. Maybe he shot at Skell actually. Not 100% sure there because we had a weird camera shot there, but either way,
Hawami is really taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah. Modame's coming around though, and don't forget during all of this, a second tank now is going to come into the second base capture point, or base capture point number 1, I should say. Shinoza can almost sit in the base capture and fight. Modame's going to go down, it looks like. Down he goes.
Yep.
And the base capture is reset.
So does Hawami. Base capture is reset. Idis does go down on that RU-251.
Yes, Shinoza did go over there and finish him off, which is good, but the surround here for team efficiency is incredible. Safi still has 2 rounds left. And this is not looking good for Karen Tiger.
Dekamori is going to be the next target. He is going to be blown up very quickly now.
All right. Well,
this is an incredible surround. Team efficiency doing a great job holding their own here. pick off a key.
Ma is still alive, which is really important.
And Polly now, he's the one who's lurking around on the side, but versus 3-4 tanks coming straight at him. I'm not sure if he really has much of a chance to live. There's only 2 tanks remaining for Karen Tiger. Well, provided that Polly goes down.
Polly's still alive for now, but Shinoza's not going to be. He's got 1 round left.
He does, and he's going to go down. He does take Dexter with him.
Very well placed shot there, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter because once Polly dies here, it's only Opalisk who remains. And Opalisk, again, on the SPG, we've seen this in the past with Opalisk where if his team doesn't support him, you know, he's just...
sitting duck.
It's like he's like in this case,
tank.
yeah. In this case, it's like the goalkeeper in soccer or football. Sorry for you non-Americans out there, where if the rest of your team is gone, the goalkeeper can only do so much, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you basically just kind of sit there. There's no way he's going to be able to do anything alone. He needs his team backing him up.
He's like, I want to hide behind this tree. But the rest of Team Efficiency, the 3 Team Efficiency members are on a hunt now.
The other thing is he's on the attack, so...
Yeah.
Oh, he survived at least.
That's
25
1.
health.
That's 1 shot.
And he's like reloading now for about 25 more seconds.
Safi and Skell now are full rounds. Here comes Safi, and he's just going to finish this off. Yeah, 1 more. There we go.
I was going to say, go for the Ram.
Wow.
100%.
Team Efficiency going ahead and taking 3 wins now versus Karen Tiger. Is this opposite day?
Well, I mean,
is this really happening?
This is really worrisome for Karen Tiger. They've got their star player, their most famous player, the most famous SPG player in Asia, perhaps at this point in the world. Like, he's quite famous, he's quite well known. But he's playing. The team isn't finding success. Their strategies aren't really working. Like the push to the courtyard on Himmelsdorf, and then on this particular map, the choice to have the IS-4 sit in the base capture. Their strategies aren't working out. Team Efficiency is playing really well.
Yes, they are.
It's really worrisome if you play against a team that has the worst record and you get crushed by them. They're trying to like stabilize. They're at 4-4 in the middle of things like, oh, we can maybe get back up and pass B gaming, but you lose to Team Efficiency here, and I'm wondering about your future in the rest of this round robin.
If Team Efficiency takes this win, this is a huge win for them. Not only is it 3 points, but I mean, you beat Karen Tiger. You beat last season's #2. Like, wow. Like, this would be an incredible win for them. It looks like Death Skies is coming out, and we're going to put Momoji back in. And I think Cliff is the next map that we're going on to.
Yeah, so I hope we see Opalisk again.
I was going to say, are we going to see him on the SPG?
I hope so, but I'm not 100% sure. I just feel like one concern about using the SPG on this map is it's hard to get vision. But because a lot of tanks stay stationary, if you could get vision and fire over those mountains, I think it would be really strong.
That is true, because everyone kind of stays at the arena, as we call it, right by the cliff, the foot of the cliff. So if he just starts lobbing things over, he should be able to hit. Yeah,
and there's always that one area, like halfway up the mountain, where either an STB1 or a Batshot stays, like in that exact same spot, and like never moves for basically the entire game. It's so hard for tanks to hit it. But an SPG, because he's not moving, if he knew that he was there, might be able to punish.
That is very true. I'm going to see if we can cheat and look at this list.
I see it.
No, actually, I don't think he will be bringing...
No, it looks like he's going to bring something else to the table.
I think so, too. We'll see how effective that is. Yeah, very interesting. All right, guys, I think we are ready now. We're going to head into Cliff for game number 5. All right, guys, welcome back to Cliff. This is set number 5, Karen Tiger versus Team Efficiency. Team Efficiency with 3 wins to Karen Tiger's 1, and Karen Tiger will be on the attack first.
Karen Tiger has done this before, 4 Batshots, but not only that, this time they're bringing 2 50-51s, the RU-251, that's where Opalisk is going to be playing. So definitely not a composition that does well with an SPG, so understandable he wouldn't bring it here. Plus, we've never seen one on this map really before. That's not true. We did see one Lorraine SPG on this map, but it didn't work. Team Efficiency bringing just 1 STB, 2 Object 430s, a 140. They've also brought just 1 50-51, a Batshot, as well as the RU-251 themselves. Now, I'm not 100% sure why the Czech tank is suddenly unbanned, but Patches...
I was going to say, I mean, it's a medium tank. It's a tier 10 medium tank, and it's just as squishy as a Batshot is.
Yeah. And, you know,
Oh, God.
patches come out on Asia like later than the other regions usually, so hit us up and let us know if you guys have any more insight into this. But, okay, Ma doing a lot of damage. That's the location I'm talking about where the Batchat and the STB hang out up there at the top. And already pretty big trades going in Team Efficiency's favor.
That is a lot. I mean, I can't even call it out. I don't know who's aiming at who right now. There's just so much going on. Obelisk on that 251. Polly on the bat shot goes down. Oof. That's going to be pretty tough for Karen Tiger.
Modame is kind of stuck here. Does escape. It always seems like Modame is the guy who always has to slide down to save himself.
You guys can see here, Modame and Dekomori just taking a ton of damage. Like I said, it's just as squishy as a Batchat is.
Yeah, it's insanely squishy. It looks a lot bigger when you look at it, but it's definitely not a lot more plated. Opalus goes down. Dekomori is very low. Like, he might as well be dead. A 430 can kill him easily at this point. Oh, man, Shinoza missed a shot. Finally, Momiji does get taken out, but there goes Dekomori.
There goes Dekomori. It is now 3 members left of the Karen Tigers to most of Team Efficiency left.
Ma is like easily 1v1ing Shinoza. Shinoza doesn't even know where he is.
Wow. Ma just up there.
Team Efficiency is on match point now after this win.
They're also on fire. I'm absolutely floored right now.
I'm really impressed. I thought after we saw the first game of Himmelsdorf, I was like, Karen Tiger made one big mistake. I don't know. And then, you know, Karen Tiger did win the second game. But after we saw the Ghost Town games, I was like, I don't know. Now I'm looking at this, I'm like, Team Efficiency is on fire now. Key's going to be the next one. Ma is like the real king of the hill. If he 1v1s a Key here and kills him too, that's insane.
Ma is almost reloaded, and he's definitely got his aim right at him.
Key, you are not safe there, man.
Oh, and while this is going on, there's 3 members of Team Efficiency. You're going to come around and see if you can finish that up. Hawami is waiting there too. Dexta goes ahead and gets that first hit, but whew.
Ma gets the kill. I want it to be known nobody else interfered. That he won 2 1v1s versus other Batchats. He himself, Ma, killed 2 Batchats up on the top of that mountain.
I can't believe it. Team Efficiency is on match point. And
a well-deserved 3 points if they win this next game.
Absolutely. They've been playing so well. Is this the same team?
It starts to look like Team Efficiency last season, you know? Where it's like, okay, there's good plans, good strategies, good execution. I'm not saying they missed some of that this season, but today, everything is going right. Like, every decision is correct. Everything they're doing is smart. And I'm like, yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
And
this is incredible to watch, I have to say.
Karen Tiger's like making some weird decisions, using 2 of the Czech tanks, the 50-51s, also bringing 4 Batchats on this map, leaving no room for a backbone in this army composition because you've got 4 Batchats that are really weak, and you've got the 2 Czech tanks that are really weak. Everything just dies so quickly on a map where it's a brawl map, you know? It's not like Steps where if you had all the Batchats where they did before, it kind of makes sense because everyone can get a clear shot. It gets a bit crazy.
And everyone can kind of run around a bit more too. Yeah. Like there's not really much space to run around in.
And if you have someone in a defensive position like Ma, he's just going to like kill every Batchat from the top. He's just like, all right, there's one, he's dead. There's one, he's dead. There's one, he's dead. And like he himself killed 2 tanks alone. And damaged several other tanks as well.
That was very, very well done. Good positioning, and yeah. I'm not even sure why Karen Tigers didn't even bother shooting up there. Like, you know he's going to be there.
Yeah, I feel like the first time, I'm not sure which Batchat he killed because they were all Batchats. It might have been Shinoza, but I can't remember. The first tank he killed, he clearly didn't know what was going on. But the second one he fought, which was a Key, I believe, fought back and still lost because he missed a shot or 2. And understandably so with the chaos of those other 3 tanks coming around at the same time. But I worry for Karen Tigers here. They, by the way, can no longer win 3 points from this match, so that's already off the table. So catching up with B Gaming and EL, looking a lot scarier, looking a lot harder at this point.
It really, really does. All right, well, we are loaded onto Cliff now. Like we said, this is match point. If Team Efficiency wins this, they go ahead with 3 points. So let's get into the game. All right, welcome back to Cliff, everyone. Karen Tiger versus Team Efficiency. Karen Tiger with 1 win to Team Efficiency's 4. And it is TE's time to attack.
So a very, very different lineup from Karen Tiger, or for Team Efficiency. Karen Tigers are the exact same one, but Team Efficiency, only one object 140, that's the only thing that's the same. But 2 E5s, a 215B, 150-51, that's also the same, and one bat shot. But it's not Maw on that bat shot. In fact, Maw is going to be on the 215B this time. So totally different lineups
also,
based on the map.
Yeah, Team Efficiency, they're going to do this the strategy where they go all the way up towards the western side of the map. We haven't really seen this. There's only one RU-251. Obelisk is going to be caught out right by himself. There's no one else there. He needs to hide, see what's going on, and let his teammates know that the cavalry is coming.
Yeah, the RU-251 is very quick, so he should be able to try to make a speedy recovery. He's going backwards, in fact, on his way out. But the terrain here doesn't make it an easy recovery, but it looks like they're now going to try to push through the center, maybe even go for a flank on Karen Tigers.
All right, while we were doing that, Dexter, he's the one who went into the arena and obviously got he just kind of died right away as he noticed that all the members of Karen Tigers were sitting there waiting for him.
This is a weird move by Karen Tiger because they already know that all the tanks are moving this location. In fact, they're taking the long way around, which gives Team Efficiency even more time to get into a better position. Oh, Opolis failed going up the hill, so he's probably just going to get killed here.
Yep, Griff's is trying to take his shot. It's not even Griff's on him, too. There's another tank behind.
Good quick thinking there by Opolis to hide behind this rock, but I don't think it's going to last.
No, Safi's got his eye on him as well.
Well, Opolis is buying a little bit of time here because they're not going straight for the capture point, which means the rest of the Karen Tigers can regroup. And don't forget, the firepower is unparalleled on the Karen Tigers with 4 bat shots. Okay.
Yeah.
Scary, scary indeed here right now for both of these teams.
Here is Maw. He's going to see what he can do. Hawami does drive by. He's going to try to take a shot. He does. He connects. Takes down about 400 HP.
The longevity for Karen Tigers' lineup is just simply not there. It's an insanely fragile lineup, just like last game. It's the same lineup. And they're having trouble even bursting down to 215B because they're not all together.
No, they're not. I mean, that was a pretty critical hit right there. But Maw still at half HP. Obelisk finally does go down. Griff's on the Object 140, takes him.
Now, Hawami's position is pretty cool and all, but he has no one to back him up. And I feel like this lineup for this map, I almost want to say the T word, terrible. I just feel like it just doesn't. I just feel like it doesn't make sense. I can't like back it up with my reasoning, because the point of a bat shot is like what we saw Maw do last game, where you could get a clear line of sight and you do a ton of damage. But on this map, it's so hard to get a clear line of sight that none of the tanks can focus fire.
Oh, Hawami just tries to take a shot at Griff. Misses the first one, hits him for the second, misses the third. This does not look good for Hawami.
This is not a Maw bat shot up here. He's out of rounds.
No,
Griffs takes him out.
Wow.
Yeah, I just can't agree with this lineup. Look at all the rock formations that block the tanks of Team Efficiency. There's no way for them to take clear shots. So in order to take shots, they have to come around into Team Efficiency's territory, if you will.
All right. Well, Karen Tigers, you can see that they are trying to regroup now. What can they do? They are down 2 tanks. Team Efficiency down 1.
Yeah, Team Efficiency is like, all right, well, we have control of this now, and we still have 6 minutes left.
Yeah,
we're not like at 4:30 zone. We're not like 3 minutes. And they can kill these tanks if they come around, if they trickle around the side, they will get blown up so easily. There's no way that these tanks can focus fire or get clear lines of sight. And with the position for Team Efficiency, they can't go up on the high ground where like the lighthouse is, like we saw Maw last game, because it's not going to do them any favors. It's not going to be useful. All
right, while we are on this standoff here, right in the middle, looks like, yep, there's Griff's. He's going to go ahead and try that base capture all the way in the north, the A3 base capture. This is new. We hardly ever see anyone trying to capture bases.
I think this is
here.
the first time we've ever seen a tank even set foot in this base capture, to my memory at least.
Well, Aki is going to try and stop that. Seems that he's the closest one. Oh, I love this picture.
It's so good because you can see, actually, you can really feel the tension. What would be even cooler is if we could see his first-person view. That would be like the scariest thing.
All right.
But
Polly and Shinoza are now on the hunt. They obviously don't want this happening. Or,
you know what? I think this is just a trap. Team Efficiency knows that Grift is expendable. Like, if he dies, it's okay. They're just going to wait for these tanks to go into the unsafe area. Even Safi is leading him on.
Yeah, Safi knows that Shinoza's right behind him, though.
And here comes Idis. It's like, I dare you to try to come and push through here. And all the while, we're down to 45 seconds on that base capture. And the Batshat that's up there, I think it's, was it Shinoza? He doesn't have a clear shot.
No,
it's a key, in fact.
This is great. Grift. Oh, Grift finally does. But you know what? While he's doing this, he's able to make all these tanks come up north so that Team Efficiency can try to get rid of the Batshots down south.
Yeah, like I said, Grift is expendable. Now this is a bit much, Idis. They're definitely going into enemy territory here without a lot of backup. They could use this opportunity to try to push north, but that is one thing that Karen Tiger's lineup really has, is mobility. With all these Batshats, they're all very fast, much faster than 215Bs are ever going to be. And I think Karen Tiger's just turned this game around by basically getting 2 kills for free. That was a bit much.
That was a little bit of a mistake by Idis coming out front.
Because that's a lot of their damage, too.
Yeah.
What weird games we have seen today. With Karen Tiger, you just never know.
And this is the first set of the night. I can't even.
All right, so this game is still very winnable for Team Efficiency. The problem is now time is actually a concern versus all these tanks. They're just simply going to spread around the map. And because they're so quick, it's going to be hard to actually chase them down in 3 minutes. I actually think Karen Tigers has basically got this in the bag because so many of the tanks for Team Efficiency are just too slow to actually close the distance.
2 E5s, a 215B, and a TVP.
Yeah. So Ma tries to take a shot here at Dekamori. Is actually spotted by, it looks like Shinoza, who should finish him off.
Yep.
But see how hard it is to get a clear line of sight like this on this map? Like, Shinoza's like, oh, finally I found somebody.
The terrain, really. Safi and Ma both down under 200 HP. One shot will explode them.
And they only have 2 minutes and 35 seconds to either get into the base capture, which they cannot. They're totally pinned down right now, or eliminate all of these tanks. It was one Batshot down at J1. There's no way they're ever going to kill him. I don't even think it would be possible if there was no one else on the map for them to find and kill that tank down there. It's just not going to happen. Safi goes down.
Safi does go down. Shinoza with 2 more rounds. It's going to make it worth it.
It's just going to be a slow, painful death here for Team Efficiency. I think they're probably pretty frustrated. I think they knew they had this game in the bag. Idis making a clear mistake, and Grift's plan did not work out the way they wanted it to, so basically lost 2 tanks for free. You know, when you do lose those tanks, you really have to respect the firepower and the mobility of these tanks, even with, in my opinion, the choice being a bit strange for the map.
I mean, yes, I still think bringing in a bunch of Batshots is not always the best. I have to agree with you on that as well.
Yeah, like this win, it doesn't like be like, well, I don't know, Wolf said it wasn't good, but they won. I'm like, well, it wasn't because of the Batshots, though.
No, it was more because of it's like small little errors that Team Efficiency made in this game, and I think they know it. They're just gonna sit there and just take it, get into the next one. We're gonna go into Prokhorovka next. And it's going to be a whole different type of game here because it's going to be a much, wider map with less terrain to work with as Cliff.
All right, that's going to do it. Skell will fall, and Team Efficiency loses that game. Still on match point with a 4-2 lead.
Yep.
But yeah, going to Prokhorovka, different map, different styles. I'm still most excited about seeing what crazy tanks Karen Tiger brings into this particular map now.
And will Opolis go ahead and use an SPG again?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's certainly a lot of room to work with on this map for that. And it's a bit flat, so obviously if you get vision, you can get a clear shot. You don't have to angle as much around mountains or buildings. Even on a map like Ghost Town, it's much more difficult.
Right.
So I have a feeling we will almost 100% see him on that 40-43. But the question is, who does he come with? If they're going to use him, they can't go full Batshot. So, they got to make a choice here on which sort of unique composition they're going to build.
Yeah, I'm also I really do wonder about this new Czech tank that keeps popping up. A lot of them too. It's like a Batshot, but not as good. I mean, fast reloads, but
it must have been changed in a recent patch significantly because there's no way that we would suddenly, first of all, it would be banned last Thursday, and then we would suddenly start seeing it a lot. It might even just simply be a new tank in general. I'd have to do a bit more research on it. But it's a tank that is showing up suddenly in everybody's lineup in almost every game, so that usually doesn't happen unless there's a huge meta shift, which happens usually like in between seasons.
Right.
Or like a huge buff, or it's just simply new and everyone's like, it's really powerful. So
yeah, we'll have to take a look. It looks like we're going to take out Griffs and put in Death Skies.
Okay.
So that was a little player swap out here. Karen Tigers, still the same team.
Yeah, same team, and interesting lineup. I don't want to talk about it too much just yet, but we'll be having that up in a second.
All right, so I mean, this is match point for team efficiency, like we said.
Yeah, still one win away.
Are we going to be seeing a Karen Tigers comeback, or do you think team efficiency can do this?
I think team efficiency can do this. I feel like their play today has been overall better, and they should have won the last game to be like, you know, the Wolf opinion, right? Like a win is a win no matter how it happens, but they should have won the last set, and they kind of threw it away. I think maybe some overconfidence, and I just maybe misreading one of his teammates' shout calls. I'm not really sure what happened there, but overall, I feel like they've been playing the much better series. So Karen Tigers, yeah, they might win one more game, but I think team efficiency is going to close this out.
You think so?
I think so.
I hope they do. I hope they do. I'm definitely rooting for them. So as we get into our fourth map of the evening, Prokhorovka, I think we are ready to go. So let's get into game number 6. I was wrong, Rolf. This is game number 7, actually. Set number 7. Karen Tiger versus Team Efficiency. And Team Efficiency with 4 wins. Match point. Karen Tigers with 2 now. And they will go ahead and attack first.
Now again, this is unheard of without a major change to the game to have this many of one tank suddenly appear in broadcasted matches. We have 6 of them on the map now. 4 for Karen Tiger, 2 for Team Efficiency. It's that 50-51 TVP tank. 2 bat shats for Karen Tigers to fill in the rest of their lineup. And Team Efficiency running some E5s and an E3 even on this map. So things just are totally wonky crazy today. I'm hoping that our second and third match are going to be as crazy as these. Now looking at the formation of the tanks on this map, Karen Tigers have moved together towards capture number 2, but it's going to be hard for them to break in because Team Efficiency also has a defensive lineup on the other side with a more flexible lineup of tanks. It looks like they're going to switch tactics here. The RU-251 shows them that base capture number 1 at the C4 location is much more open and available for the taking.
Yep, Karen Tigers all going to back out. Head over that way. Team Efficiency doing a good job, just mining the railroad tracks, make sure that they can get a good view and shot of their opponents.
Like when I said Karen Tigers, I was like, yeah, they're really leading the meta on this 2 autoloader thing. I said 2 autoloaders Karen Tigers, not 6. Not 6 every game. I think maybe in practice it's really working for them quite well, and I think they're just trying to break into the competitive scene with this. But Kiwami's taking shots at something. I'm not sure what, but he's not connecting. Obelisk also as well. Maybe they're just making some noise over there to try to throw Team Efficiency off with their 6th sense, but...
Huh, indeed. Okay, so... All right, we have Ma and Skell all the way up north, just kind of flirting with the line, the game line.
Yeah, the out-of-boundary line. You never want to cross that one. It'll cause your tank to explode. It'll also like uninstall the game. Like it will also revert your computer to Windows Vista. Like just don't cross it, guys.
Windows Vista, no, Windows ME.
It's like all your cookies you eat for the rest of your life will have like pecans in them and raisins. Just don't cross that line.
All right. So yeah, I mean, right now, Karen Tiger is just going up and down this road over on the western side of the map.
Yeah, and this is actually possibly the most passive game we've ever seen on Prokhorovka. Like, we're down 2.5 minutes in, and no one has taken damage.
Yep. Okay, looks like a regroup for Team Efficiency.
I think Karen Tigers is really feeling the pressure now, and they're not going to take any risks. Except with their tank lineup, which is pretty risky and crazy. But like they're going to use it carefully. Shinoza is currently reloading, and so that's one key thing to note, because even though this check autoloader does a decent amount of damage, it still can't quite compare to what the bat shats can do. Polly and Shinoza, very key in that regard. And what they would like to hit, if possible, is hit the opponent's TVPs. If they can take those out, those are the squishiest, those are the most vulnerable.
All right. Obelisk is going to start the base capture in base number 1. There he is sitting in a small little bush. And he's going to see if he could get Team Efficiency to get flustered by this.
Yeah, and Team Efficiency can't quite see what's going on over there. You know, they don't have Sixth Sense going off, and they're not that close, so they might think the rest of the tanks are nearby, which in fact is not the case, because Team Efficiency is now trying to, or rather, Karen Tiger's trying to sneak around from the south, and Ma is going to see this in just a second. He's like, oh, I got to go down into the puddle.
Yeah, he definitely sees it. There's a lot of them. Ma is going to be focused fired down pretty heavily. But that's a lot of information that he's able to get for his team. He is the first casualty of the game.
Many shots were connected across the way as well onto Shinoza, Aki, and Modame during all this, so I feel like it was a decent trade overall. Even if you look at the tank hit points, it looks pretty good for Team Efficiency. And the rest of these tanks are now kind of reloading on the prowl. It's almost like a siege slow push here. It's like we burst out all of our rounds, all 7 tanks, and then we all reload together while we're moving.
Yeah,
and then we're ready to fight again.
Lumigi's going to take some shots as well. This is interesting. Karen Tiger all traveling together. They're going to go way around by the waterfront.
It's definitely leaving Team Efficiency guessing. You like see where Momiji and Idis are firing, and it's very clear they don't really have any idea where Karen Tigers is going. Now they're all hiding behind bushes. Remember, the clock is working against Karen Tigers here, so Team Efficiency has no rush to go out and find them. They're just going to try to get some free shots off, some blind shots, and continue to be in solid position. Losing Ma was a big blow, though, because now they don't have that much information about where Karen Tigers is moving next.
Right. All right, Polly. It's just like Karen Tigers moving from place to place altogether. Not really making much ground, though. It doesn't seem like... Every time they get to a position and they prepare to attack, it's almost like they decide to change their minds and go somewhere else.
It's like they just don't have a comp that really lets them slow push. So they're trying to hope to surprise Team Efficiency and burst a bunch of their tanks down with all their autoloaders and then move somewhere else while they're reloading. But every time they go, they're like, Team Efficiency is too set up. We can't just risk this and go in. All of our tanks are so squishy. They're so weak. Looks like Death Sky's the old snafu over here.
A little bit.
Oh, it was Obelisk, actually. Looks like he connected. I thought he, like, messed up, but... Okay, well, I mean...
4 minutes and 20 seconds left, and again, Team Efficiency, this is a good position for them to be in.
Yeah. Karen Tigers are moving towards that C4 capture here, and I think that they are going to actually commit quite heavily to it this time. Shinoza may come for a flank. I think it's smart to keep him over there because he's the weaker of the tanks right now, to maybe come back from behind instead of having him on the front lines. All these haystacks in here, but no one in the base capture.
Yeah, I think Dexter is going to go and see what he can find out. Obviously, there are no tanks coming over to this base capture, and no one's really attacking, so...
I think it's going to be kind of like an all-in cap attempt for Karen Tiger, and then they're going to try to focus fire as best as they can with the remaining tanks they have left. I think sending one of the 50-51s into there with Obelisk is their best bet. If they leave just Obelisk there, I think Team Efficiency is like, nah, it's going to take too long. We're actually fine with this. They need more tanks in there than just one.
But they don't know that there are 4 tanks kind of standing by to get this base capture down as fast as possible.
Yeah, and there is a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for, like, floral, like there's a lot of trees and stuff in the way. There's a lot of shrubbery. Okay, there's a lot of green here. It's actually tough to hit Obelisk. They don't know exactly where he is. It's hard to get a line of sight on him. Safi goes down.
Safi does go down. That is definitely not a good thing for Team Efficiency right now, because they're down 2 tanks while Karen Tiger has all 7 members still remaining.
I think it's really important. Actually, I think the most important tank for Team Efficiency right now is Idis, because he's going to be the one who can deny base capture and escape later on in this game, because I think this is going to be a base capture win for Karen Tiger if they win it.
All right, they're going to go in for the fight now. Death Skies needs to take out Aki ASAP, but Momiji is... oh my gosh, he is being focus fired down so fast. There goes Momiji.
This is the fight Karen Tiger's been waiting for, where they can finally find a few isolated tanks and annihilate them with focus fire.
Death Skies moving out into the open like that. I'm not sure if that's the best plan for him.
Well, it's funny because Polly and Huami were on reload, which he must have timed that out in his head. He knew exactly that that was his moment to try to get into a better position. 57 seconds to go in base capture, 2 minutes to go in game clock.
Dexta is down, Aki is down, but that's the first casualty for Karen Tiger. They have 6 members remaining still to Team Efficiency's 3.
I think Karen Tiger's starting to get some momentum in this series. I think they will win this game by base capture. Although, now that I say that, Idis is actually kind of exposed now. He's not hidden like he was once before.
And right behind him, there's Shinoza. He's just going to be brutally in your face, Idis.
Shinoza can't get the kill, but Hawami's here to finish him off.
Yep.
And that will be game as Skell is poised to fall, as well as the base capture has 5 seconds to go.
It's one or the other.
I think they're actually going to win by base capture. I don't think they can kill Skell in time because Mudami's reloading.
Mudami's just not even letting him move. He's like, nope, you're stuck in the corner here.
There you go. Base capture win here for Karen Tiger.
Ooh.
And wow, that was pretty intense.
That was really intense. And again, now, yeah, like you said, Karen Tiger's gaining that momentum, and I'm not sure how this is going to fare for Team Efficiency.
I feel like when I look at Team Efficiency's play, like their tank lineups make more sense to me. Their movements make more sense. I look at them and I go, well, they basically got this in the bag. But I think they're getting a bit nervous or something, and they're making some questionable decisions, like saying that guy's out into the middle of nowhere versus all those bat shots. He's bound to be focus fired down. If they run the same lineup again, I think the key is we move together, we stay together. All 6 tanks need to be close by to each other so that no one can get focus fired down, no one can get flanked from the side. And that was, until that one moment, Karen Tigers had like no room to do anything in that game. Like they were like looking for the weak elk, you know, to find and hunt down. They were like, all right, where's the guy we can get? Finally, we found him. Okay, he's dead. Okay, there's another one. We got him. But if you just all stay together, like if you have like the herd in like a circle, protect like the bat shots in the middle, then the praying Karen Tiger bat shot lineup cannot break through.
Oh gosh, yeah, Karen Tiger's waiting till that end, just finding that perfect moment, right? And I don't know, they did a really good job staying patient. The time did run out pretty fast on them, but not too, Yeah,
I feel like now that the attacking team is actually Team Efficiency, they really need to stay together, and I think probably try to force a longer sustained fight with the lineup they're bringing, if they bring the same type of lineup. If they do something different, then we'll talk about it when we get in the game. But assuming both teams run a similar lineup, I think the best course of action, best option to take, the best course of action for Team Efficiency is to force an engagement that ends up going longer as some of those tanks run out of rounds. They're on reload, they have to leave.
Yeah.
They're not as tough, they're much weaker, especially they run all those check tanks again, which I think they are, because that's what Karen Tigers does. They don't actually switch their tanks from game to game on attack and defense. From map to map, they sometimes do, but like from attack defense, they like never do.
They never do. It's really strange. They just kind of like their lineups and they stick with it throughout the entire evening, and you're like, guys, we're on a city map now, like, hello. But anyway, guys, it looks like we are ready to get into game number 8. All right, it is set number 8, Karen Tiger versus Team Efficiency. We have made it this far. Team Efficiency still on match point, and they are going to be the ones on the attack.
So, I mean, you can just see, if you look at the hit points at the top of your screen, that Team Efficiency's lineup is 1,000 hit points stronger when it comes to tankiness, and that doesn't even count the armor that these tanks have. But the tank lineup for Karen Tigers is exactly the same as we predicted, but for Team Efficiency, they switch things up a little bit. Safi is actually going to be the player on the bat shot. They only have 2 E5s, and it looks like they brought an extra 140, so not only Idis, but Skell is on that, and 1 check 50-51. Ma
taking a shot at Obelisk already.
Yep. The RU battle. I love the tier 8 battles. It's just kind of this fun, goofy thing we get to see sometimes, especially on Ghost Town, but sometimes here too. All right, well, they're going to push towards the west, and that's good for them considering the positioning of Karen Tiger. Because, as we talked about the height of the railroad tracks and things of that nature, it's hard to get a clear line of shot at the west side when you're on the east side. Even if you're up on the high ground like Shinoza, the distance, you don't get a lot of visual confirmation as to where you're firing. so far away. It's going to be hard for him to hit anyone. Even Safi is like too far away.
All right, Death Skies, the 2 E5s right now. They're going to go straight into, I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah, they're going into the lower grounds. They're not going to the middle, so they can't be seen. And if they force Sixth Sense to go off, it might make Karen Tiger think there's more tanks actually coming, and they might play a little bit more passively because of that. I think they come as a pair here because they can kind of protect each other if things go wrong.
Okay, and as they're doing this, the rest of the team right now, they're heading up north towards the first capture point to the C4 area. But what they don't know is that Obelisk is lurking out that way as well. There he is, Lurker.
All right, so he's going to get vision here. As you can see, he's got his sights on Maw here. He doesn't want to fire yet because he'll reveal himself. Now he does because it's already been seen.
Yep.
Seal Obelisk. Skull's going to finish him off. But Maw will go down as well. It looks like. Yeah.
Yep. Hawami does finish him off.
You know, those 50-50 ones really do move. They're actually pretty quick tanks.
Yeah, the TVPs?
Yeah. They're actually like not that slow. I thought they were pretty slow, but looking at them,
no,
like,
they're bigger tanks, but like I said, they're like Bat Shats, but it's like a Czech version of a Bat Shat.
Yeah. So this is a good formation here for Karen Tiger. Let's see if they can actually continue the momentum. The E5s are out of position now. And I think that they're just starting to realize this, like, oh, wait, we are no longer blocking anybody. They've completely outmaneuvered us.
They need to get rid of Modame as soon as possible, but they're both on reload right now. Dexter possibly going to be ready.
Modame's still alive.
Yeah.
Down he goes.
Oh, there he goes. But, I mean, in that exchange, Skell did go down. Karen Tigers now realizes that they need to start eliminating quickly.
Those E5s, yeah, the E5s need to get in here.
Yes, Dexter, go ahead and take out a key.
And Hawami is going to go down here now, and it looks like Team Efficiency has won the battle. It looks like they have taken control. Polly can be a game changer because he's still very healthy. Shinoza also just reloaded.
Yep, and Safi with full rounds. He's going to try to kill Dekomori. He wants to make sure they can pick off tanks one at a time, and they are doing a very good job of it. Dekomori goes down. Polly and Shinoza are the last two left, but there's still 5 tanks for Team Efficiency. I think they might be able to take this.
Polly knows who's left. Killing Skell and now going to go for Idis. And that's, I mean, we saw him take a shot. He doesn't know exactly where Idis is, but he knows the general location. Those are the tanks he wants to kill first. And then while he's reloading, just outmaneuver the slower tanks, the E5.
But he also needs to go and stop his base capture. The base capture is down to 80 seconds. Yes, it's only one tank, but 78 seconds, Wolf, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is really going to be about Polly's...
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, Polly walking into the worst possible location. Dexter and Safi should, if they don't miss like that, easily destroy him without taking very many losses.
Safi, that's 1. That's 2. Polly is just going...
Shinoza saves him for now.
Yep.
You know what? They could actually win this fight. Just barely not.
All right,
and Shinoza's on reload now. So is Safi, though.
Momiji is still in that base capture,
yeah, like,
50 seconds.
It would be nice if he was just here to finish this tank off, but he's like, nah, I'll just sit in the base capture. You want to come over and join me, Idis, since you know, you're basically dead, so why don't you just come decrease the timer?
I think that's the best option right now. Get in there. Base timer is now 13 seconds, and Safi is keeping an eye out for, they're both reloading.
If Shinoza reloads, he will kill this. He will kill this Bastion, he will kill Safi, but in the time it takes him to do that...
I don't think he has enough time,
Yeah, the base capture will end. So
they both reload right at the same time. He does take it, but he's got 2 seconds now. 1, and
Idis is being blocked by Momiji. He misses.
Perfect. Team Efficiency go ahead and win their first 3 points for the season.
That's going to put them at 5 points, which will actually put them ahead of both Super Friends and Immortals, who are both playing in our 3rd match of the night.
Wow.
So either team could, pass them, but this is a good first win, and they beat Karen Tigers, and that's like something that you'll always remember.
Yeah.
Team Efficiency played incredibly well today. I feel like Karen Tigers played uniquely. Like, they didn't play the best games ever, but they also looked like, as good as Karen Tigers normally is. It's just that I almost feel like they handicapped themselves with some of the lineups they're running today, but Who knows?
Who knows?
It's still new. We're still just learning.
You know, with Obelisk back, maybe they're just trying different strategies, and we'll have to find out a little bit more about them as we watch them play a bit more towards the end of the season. But that was the end of match number 1, guys. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we will be back with B Gaming versus EL Gaming. So we will see you shortly. Welcome back, guys. It is now the second matchup of the evening. We have for you B Gaming versus EL Gaming, and it's been a while since we've seen EL around these parts, so I'm kind of excited, Wolf.
And also, B Gaming is on a sick winning streak. They're tearing through teams. They beat Karen Tiger. I think this team is really, really shaping up to maybe even make the playoffs. So a win versus EL would almost certainly guarantee their spot there, but you know, we haven't seen EL in a long time, so let's see how well they're doing today, too.
Absolutely, and the only quote-unquote loss that they've had so far was to Super Noobs, and that's only because they didn't show up on time. But Super Noobs right now also in the first place spot. I feel like that's one game they really should have made that effort to get to.
Yeah, the head-to-head game when you're behind someone is always like the one where you can make the biggest jump. Well, let's take a look at our team rosters to remind you guys who's on these teams. I think starting with
B Gaming. Yep, B Gaming. We've got, well, I mean, again, this team minus Tiltel Matil is exactly the same as last season, and Tiltel Matil being a very good addition to them, and a team that just kind of everybody on this team plays.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team that has played every single one of their members as much as
every single player plays and plays a lot. Like, we see some of these rotations from game to game, from attack side to defense side to maps. And it happens so often, we even sometimes get notified by it. We're like, oh man, it's Neat Mania this time, okay. And then it's like, okay, now Taki's in, Neat Mania's out, or Karaya is out. I feel like I can't even say which player has played the least. I can't even like really even put my finger on it.
I know,
because everyone plays so much.
All the time. Maybe Shimip. I would say Shimip probably least of all of them, but still he has a lot of games under his belt. Then we have EL Gaming. I mean, these guys from last season, these are the kings, right? The kings of the Gold Series. Fox, Reflection, Nightmare, Black, Nice Flag, Newman. These are guys we always see. Guanman Kui, I believe, is the new one here.
Yeah, he's the only new one. Oh, Shadows as well. I don't believe Shadows was on the team last summer. If he was not playing. But we haven't seen either of them appear. We've seen more classic lineups from EL all the times they played. Now, you mentioned earlier EL is in second place, but they have actually only one loss, which, like you said, was a loss by DQ.
It was a quote-unquote loss, right?
But if they win every other game that they play in, like, they'll still be able to tie Super Noob's record because they're actually 3 games behind. So Super Noobs have played 3 more matches than they have. So it's not like they're behind because Super Noobs is winning more than them. It's like, well, they just simply have played 11 games and EL has played 8. So it's their time to catch up.
I'm still not going to take it away from Super Noobs. They have been playing fantastic this entire season. Now here are the maps that they have chosen to play on. Look what we're missing.
It's no Himmelsdorf.
What are we? What is going on? Today is a really backwards day. I don't know what's going on. But Ghost Town, first map. Then we have Ruinberg. Then Prokhorovka, Mines, and then Cliff. I could even say the map name today. Today's a really weird day.
It is weird. Also notably missing is, what's the map I'm thinking of?
Steps.
Steps, that's right. Steps is not going to
So
make an appearance.
Steps and Himmelsdorf not in this lineup, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
And you know, EL usually, they're the forerunners of coming up with new metas, and they come up with all these new ideas. I know they watch the Russian teams and see how they do, and the Chinese teams, obviously. And so I'm kind of wondering what kind of new strategy that they've gotten from other regions will they implement today?
And will they use the Czech tank that you know, we now know is in fact a new tank, which made sense to me because I was like, how have I never heard of this team
I was
before?
like, it must have been with the patch.
Because like for me, like my interest in tanks is like World of Tanks related. Like I'm not one of those guys who knows all the tanks like from real life, you know. I'm not the guy who's like, oh, you know, I know this tank. Like they just added
we like the competition tanks.
Yeah, exactly. we're like eSports tanks enthusiasts, right? So for us, that was a new site. So now looking at it and seeing how it works, like it is more popular. So let's see if EL likes playing it. Let's see if B Gaming likes playing it because it was banned basically last week, but now it's actually allowed to be played.
Right. I think last week they wanted to make sure that everyone was comfortable enough on it before picking it. Didn't want to give anyone the advantage or anything. But this week it is allowed. And so the TVP is definitely being played, as we've seen several times in the last matchup. But guys, it looks like the first game is ready. We're going to head into Ghost Town set number 1. Welcome, guys, to set number 1, B Gaming versus EL Gaming, and EL is going to be on the attack first.
All right, so if you missed the first matches, we do have a new skins for these teams. The defending team gets a camo skin. The attacking team gets a red blood splatter-looking skin. But 2 E100s for B Gaming, 2 215B is a Batshot, a Conqueror, and a B50 or T54. So a much more standard lineup than their other Japanese counterparts, Karen, who do crazy things. And EL is running a Mouse, which we've seen many times on Ruinberg, but not so much on this map. 2 E100s, 3 215Bs, and a 1390. So no check tanks for either team going into this one.
Okay, here, well, looks like base capture number 1 is going to be the popular zone for this game.
Flag's just like in between that little office building and the outhouse.
Yep.
No wonder this town got deserted. There's outhouses still. Ooh,
well,
7mm should not peek around too soon.
He's going to peek around, and he's going to be faced with 2 215Bs right in his face. Oh, God.
That was really good reaction up by 7mm. As soon as the Sixth Sense went off and he saw the edge of Nice, he was like, no, this isn't worth it.
No.
EL being insanely aggressive. We saw strategies like this on this map a lot last season, but not so much this season. It's kind of like, all right, we got someone sitting in that lower depression in base capture number 1, and we've got a ton of tanks protecting it. It's like, do not dare try to stop us from this base capture.
Wow. Okay, 7mm does peek out a little bit, takes a little bit of damage onto Newman. I can't believe this positioning by Flag.
The 1390 is just small enough to fit in between there. We usually see an RU-251 or a Batshot actually come into this position.
Base capture already down to 21 seconds.
Yeah, and Fox is just going to step in. Not all the way in, apparently, though. Like,
well, Nice is in now.
Okay, yeah, Nice is in there, too. That's right. I was like, how did they jump down that quickly?
Nice and Flag, I think. Oh, yeah, Nice and Flag.
Ooh, gets reset, though, because he steps off. Flag has got down to 34, but he stepped out. Is that or something? Something hit him. That's weird. I don't know how that got reset, to be honest, but this is really important now because now that it's reset, they can't quite use this as their strategy anymore. They're going to actually have to win by elimination, or at least try to get ahead in these trades right now. Now, Flag could try to finish off Tamati. I think that's his best bet here. Misses his first shot, or actually doesn't penetrate. And down he goes.
Oh, I apologize, guys. I just had a coughing fit. But I'm not dead, and I'm back to cast.
I was worried about you there.
Yeah, if I keel over here, we'll just, you know, call my mom, let her know.
I would definitely like call an ambulance before I continue this cast. I'd just say sorry to everybody out there.
All right,
gotta make sure she's okay.
Looking on the screen right now, wow, I am amazed that EL Gaming, they're all hanging on. Everyone is way under 1,000 HP.
Yeah, like actually almost everyone's under 500 HP at this point.
Again, this team has always been known for their amazing accuracy. And as I was coughing and dying, I was still watching the game.
Yeah, and I mean, basically they turned a bad situation into a good one with their accuracy. That was the name of the game. Till Matil dies, which leaves Taki to be the last man standing. Let's see if Fox can beat him in a 1v1. I think he can.
I actually think he can as well. Fox is just going to wait for that perfect shot. He takes it, and wow. Guanren, 175 HP. I mean, everyone was under 500 by the end, and they survived. They're still perfectly how?
You know, it's like even if you're commenting on another game, like if you're watching like a MOBA or something, sometimes you watch like the pro teams, and it's like everybody's still alive with like 5 health left, and you're like, oh my god, how does this happen? Like that's EL. Like they know how much they can push their tanks. They know like the limit when that's broken. Their plan failed. Their strategy failed. I'm not sure what reset that base capture there. Really don't know because he didn't take any damage and he was definitely still in it. But whatever reset that base capture really ruined their plan because he was down like 13, then it went all the way up to 99.
Yeah.
And then they had to like just change the plan and back out and take good fights. And their accuracy, like you said, is what won them that game.
But again, they're able to do that. They're like, oh, this was our plan. It didn't work out. Next plan. And everyone is just on point with one another. I keep talking about EL, and I praise them so heavily, but they deserve to be praised. They just, even though we haven't seen them play in quite some time, you know, we were kind of saying maybe, you know, you think they've fallen off or maybe they got a little soft.
Yeah,
no.
We don't really know, you know, because we don't see them for a long time, but every time they come back, I'm like, oh, yeah. No, they are the best team in this league.
They are pretty
I really wish they actually got to play against Super Noobs because that would have been a real treat.
Yeah, that would have been amazing to watch. But wow, after a super aggressive first game, we're going to go into Ghost Town again, switch the sides, and you know what? I just feel like EL will be aggressive no matter what, even on the defense.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think I think this is going to be a little bit of a different game now. Interestingly, the Maus was chosen on this map, but didn't really come into play a whole lot. Now, I wonder if we'll see that again. Now, EL is one of those teams that changes its tanks almost every map for every situation. For attack, defense, they're going to switch their tanks. You know, they're also going to sometimes run tank lamps no one's seen on the map, but like make it look like it's totally normal.
And like totally easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, one time we picked like 7 SPGs and we're like, yeah, well, it was fine. People were doubting us, but I mean,
and then,
we
won
didn't lose
in
a single
like 3
one.
minutes, whatever.
Yeah, like we were losing, our strategy didn't work, but we like still won. We know how like the SPG rams even, we've like calculated this, we know like exactly what we can do.
I mean, the running joke for me is that EL gaming, they're actually made of robots. They are. I'm pretty sure of it. I know we met them last year at the finals, but I'm pretty sure they're robots.
Yeah, like when I shook some of their players, like when I touched like Reflection, I was like, hey, his hand was a bit cold. I don't know what's up with that. What's going on with that?
Was it heavy and like clunky too?
Yeah, I heard like a metallic sound. I was like,
I don't know, man. But anyway, these guys are super good, and we do know that they have, time and time again showed us that they are able to just pull out like the weirdest strategies and like the strangest tank lineups and still do great with them because that's how much they practice.
Yeah, it's basically the long and short of it, Susie, but let's see if they can continue the momentum going into game 2.
Sounds good. Let's head into the next game. All right, guys, welcome to set number 2. This is B Gaming versus EL. EL went ahead and won that first one, and now it's B Gaming's turn to go on the attack.
So B Gaming is bringing in 50B, and E100 2215B is a bat shed, so they're running that 2 auto loader that Japanese players really like. A Conqueror and a T54, so a little bit more flexibility with that. Whereas EL Gaming is running a 215B lineup. In fact, 5 of them with the E100 tank destroyer as well as an RU251.
All right, well, here we go. We can see EL all grouped up together, minus Nice. He's going to head over on his own. Reflection on the RU251, going to scout a little bit.
Reflection's like doing a slide. Did you see that? He's got like super knowledge of how the physics work in this game. I feel like the lineup that we're seeing from EL is designed to crush an E100 base lineup, and the B Gaming is not running that, but I think they still have a good idea about what to do. Reflection is almost certainly going to be killed here.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they 3 tanks had to aim at him before one hit. Reflection actually does zip away and is able to get out of that dangerous situation.
Yeah, I almost thought he was dead for sure. Nepo wasted all his rounds on that, so he's going to have to reload before he can be useful for a little while. It's not going to be too long of a time. But EL is kind of swarming around base capture number 2, setting up to potentially just trade here. Nice hit Samo just on the edge there. There's no hesitation for EL players either, just to put that out there. Like, you show like the pinky toe of your tank, like I like to joke, and it's gonna hit you. Like in the center of your pinky toe too.
The center of your pinky toe.
But just mean like if the back of your tank is exposed for a second, they find it.
Okay, well, EL Gaming on the defense, they are definitely well around the middle of this map. They have very good coverage, just kind of waiting to see what B Gaming's next move is going to be.
B Gaming has played so carefully in all the matches they've played recently, and it's really starting to show. I think personally, like the teams that play more careful often are the better teams. They don't take big risks. And that's why the meta has super slowed down as well, and we have 10 more minutes, so playing slow makes more sense. But hold that thought. I don't want to talk about that too much, as 7mm and Tilta and Matilla are taking some serious damage. 7mm like taking some critical damage, in fact. He's hoping the rest of his tanks back him up, but they're a bit slow on it.
Oh, looks like EL Gaming, no, they are going to come by, and it looks like they're all going to do what EL does best, tell each other who to focus fire on and start taking out tanks one by one.
Also notice that EL has Guanren and even flag checks behind, just to make sure they're not being ambushed from the other side. And in fact, they're like, oh, you guys are just going to try to go down this choke point? That's fine. We've got this totally controlled. A massive lead right now for EL, but not a single tank has died this game, so things could change very quickly.
Okay.
Nepo with 1 shot left. He might as well start reloading now.
Yeah, he's just got to get a good shot, though. He gets hit. Oh,
His
gosh.
treads are damaged, I think. He's kind of sitting there.
That. Yeah, he needs to fix that, but he's not going to be able to. Nipa goes down.
Fox takes the perfect shot.
Down. Yep, and 7mm does too. This looks like the beginning of the end for B Gaming.
Yeah, looks like it. Taki is actually hit from two sides. Guanren could just ignore Tamati. But in fact, because Taki's out of rounds, he's just going to ignore him instead. And Tamati will be the next to fall. Those are the rotations here. Flag sees an opening. He's like, I can kill this guy while you just hold this guy for a second.
While you reload, I'm just going to do this. The communication on EL is just absolutely amazing.
The coordination
you can
is...
see it.
Yeah.
You can see the coordination in plain sight.
I almost just feel like I can imagine these guys talking really monotonous voice, like, I've got the guy behind the crane, you take him out, okay, I got him, like, now who's next?
Super Hiroshi is next. Like we said, Guanren takes that final shot, now it's just Till Matil, and that will be all. Fox taking that shot, and EL Gaming taking another swift game number 2.
Fox is such a scary character to have on like a tank destroyer autoloader, because what Fox always was in last season was the 50-100, the AMX, and he was always like on Lakeville, for example, the guy who was there to support. You know, if the other tanks force someone out of position, he finishes them off. And we saw most teams this season have not brought the tank destroyers to Ghost Town. We're starting to see it a little bit
more now.
But like when you see Fox, he's like, I'm all the way over there, and you pushed him out to like the one line of sight I have like up over a ramp, and then over here he's like, I got that shot, I didn't miss it. And because it's an autoloader tank destroyer, if you miss a lot of your rounds, you have to reload, you're not as useful. But Fox like just does not miss.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't miss, so he's like, all right,
He's a robot, duh.
I have like 5 rounds of fire, like I've got 5 dead tanks, like which ones do you want me to kill? Like so that's basically like the gist of it. Really, really incredible play. Good coordination, and B Gaming's play was solid as well. Their push was smart. They came in with the right lineup of tanks. I really like the lineup they built. It's just like, it's so hard to beat EL, and that's what we always say. And like, I know people on the internet are like, I don't know, Wolf and Susie are always like, no teams have a chance. But I mean, when teams really start having a chance, call me, because I want to watch those replays.
The Super Noobs game. That we missed it. I know. I'm still so sad about that.
Yeah.
Oh, Super Noobs versus EL would have been absolutely amazing to watch.
Like, people say like, well, you know, EL lost it because they didn't show them. Like, no, you know who really lost was us and the fans.
Yeah.
That's who really lost that series.
Oh gosh, it was definitely more than 3 points lost there.
But you know, that was our first round robin. Now going into the second one, they will face each other again. Now, assuming both teams show, which like almost all teams have shown the entire league this season. Yeah. I think we will eventually get to see that battle, and that's when they're going to be like really close in points, and it might even be like one of the deciding battles to decide who gets first.
That would be so crazy.
We don't know when that's going to be yet, but just hyping up that concept, just like kind of chew on that for a while, digest it, because that will happen eventually.
All right, so the next map that we're going on to is going to be Ruinberg. I think we haven't, well, yeah, Ruinberg, just one of those maps you just don't see as much. I'm just happy it's not Himmelsdorf anymore, to be honest with you.
Well, it's always good to see more flexibility in map lineups. That's why I was glad we started to see Steps even sneak in a little bit last week, and Cliff is now kind of one of our standard maps instead of being our tiebreaker every series. It's a
tiebreaker for the series.
It's a tiebreaker for the series, but you know, Prokhorovka, a map that has medium playability. I think Ruinberg is probably the map seen the least now.
I think so.
I think Cliff has passed it probably, so it's a map that's not that figured out yet, but again, we see cool games on it all the time. We see a lot more aggressive games. This map is the map where we see the most rush attempts on the attack side to capture base 2.
So we'll have to take a look to see if we're going to see that rush attack or not. I think the game is ready. Let's head into game number 3. All right, set number 3, B Gaming versus EL Gaming. EL with 2 games so far, B Gaming with 0, and it's going to be EL on the attack first.
All right, here we go. 3 bat shots for B Gaming. Almost taking a book out of Karen Tiger's playbook, taking a page out of the book. A 113, bringing a little bit of China into this 140 object tank, and we see our first Czech tank of the series in 1390, whereas EL Gaming is running 62A, 4 of them. 4 Czech tanks, 215B, and a T54 lightweight to close it out. And we're just going to go straight down the center, EL is. And they're going to take the fastest route possible as the crow flies.
And they're just going to start taking shots at one another. Everyone's health bar, especially on B Gaming's side, starting to chip away pretty low.
Look at how quickly. This is a tank that seems so scary in the hands of a team like EO Gaming with their focus fire. They can kill a 113 in seconds. It's 7mm lucky to escape with his life here. Not all is well for EO Gaming. They lost a lot of health on some of their tanks, including Reflection, who's nearly dead.
And Newman as well. Up, 7mm does go down. That 113 is down, but they trade 1 for 1. Reflection, yeah, it was only a lightweight, but still, that is a victory.
Now Black looks like he's looking for Tamati. Just to get a little bit more of a close-up look there. Tamati is so far away. Samo dies. 62A got some serious damage potential in it. Not a very commonly used tank, but EL has brought it to Himmelsdorf as well as this map before.
All right, Black is sitting in the base capture now, and he's going to try to time it down, but no, he's unable to. Nipa makes sure he's just harassing him a bit. Even if he dies here, he was able to stop that base capture. Has done his job.
He's burning, actually, which he needs to use his fire extinguisher if he's got one. Okay, he does. And this is basically a 1 game here for EO Gaming, but things got a bit scary there in the middle of the game. Like, they lost a lot of health on some of their key tanks, but their focus firing, especially on these TVP tanks, is pretty solid.
Oh gosh, yeah, Tamati, last one left on that bat chat, still reloading. Pretty sure he's just going to come out to die.
That's right.
And that's what he does. EL Gaming going ahead and taking their 3rd win. I mean, I know we keep talking about EL. I'm going to talk about B Gaming. Now, B Gaming, all up till now, like you said, have been showing us some amazing games. They have been on a roll. They've just been plowing through all the teams. And I feel like finally they're coming to an opponent where, you know, it's causing them, it challenges them.
Sure, it's their first challenge. Well, I shouldn't say their first challenge, but it's the team they're having the most difficulty against in weeks, because Karen Tiger that they beat was a real challenge. They also took some serious points off of some other teams in recent times as well. Not to get too deep into that, but EL is again on another level. They've been gone for a while, which means there's less games to study of EL in recent times. And for EL, there's a ton of recent games for B Gaming to study. Like they can study all the matches B Gaming has played. I think B Gaming is the team that had one of the least games played along with EL, so they had to play like a ton of matches back to back to back. So they're playing several weeks in a row. So EL has recent games to study, which is always easier to study than like EL's last games, which
I think it was on Christmas Eve. I'm looking at my notes here, and I believe EL Gaming, the last time we saw them play was Christmas Eve. So that's
and they actually DQ'd that day, I believe.
No, that was the one against the Immortals.
Oh, okay.
And then before that, we didn't see them until, that's December 10th against Horsemen.
And they played a ton in the early part of this tournament.
Yeah.
Like they were playing like every week, played multiple doubleheaders.
So it's been quite some time. It's been 2 weeks of, you know, them being able to study up on B Gaming, and here they are, and they're back with a vengeance. So going to Ruinberg and swapping sides, what can B Gaming do?
Well, I'm not sure about that one, Susie. I feel like we're going to see a bit of a different lineup from EL going on to the defense now. I don't think they're going to bring as many of the TVP tanks. They might sneak in a Mouse, because EL is the only team that really likes to play Mouses consistently. We've seen them do it on Himmelsdorf. We just saw them do it on our first map. Why am I forgetting the Ghost Town? Which was like the first time we've seen that tank on that map the entire tournament. And we've seen them do it on this map, Ruinberg. So I feel like they might bring that. They might just bring an IS-7. They could bring a more damage-heavy tank lineup, because I think that they've got so much momentum right now. They're trying to roll with that. Their focus fire has been on point. EL just looks as solid as ever. You know, this is not a surprise. This is not a shock. Sometimes when we look at a 3-0, like when we were looking at the previous set, we're like, oh, wow, team efficiencies might beat Karen Tiger. They got a 3-0. That's kind of crazy. But when you look at this, this is kind of what you would expect. And I think B Gaming won't lose too much face after being 0-3 right now, because it's like, well, we thought this was probably going to be our hardest match of the season. So,
of course.
You know, let's see what we can do.
And as long as they're putting up a good fight, I mean, they still have coming in with good ideas, and they're still playing the best that they can. And so, if anything, they'll go home with the experience and be able to learn something from this matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for B Gaming, they did kind of cross halfway point. They're 5-4 now in games, so they could potentially get the playoffs, and I think that should be their goal, and this is going to be a learning experience.
All right, so we are ready for Ruinberg. This is set number 4. welcome guys to set number 4. This is B Gaming versus EL Gaming. EL up 3 games, and now it's B Gaming's turn on the attack.
So the tank lineups here that we see are almost identical. 2 check tanks for B Gaming, 3 for EL. 62A still on EL side. No IS-7, no Maus, no IS-4. It's really gonna, looks like, kind of just cover their ground here with a little bit more mobility.
Okay.
3 bat shots again for B Gaming. So a lot of damage potential.
Oh gosh, this is
This looks like a javelin, being hurled out of this base.
This is scary right here as everyone comes down the road. And EL can just have easy shots. They're all wide open.
Yeah. Flag taking a lot of damage, but he's not the critical target here. Newman still has 1 shot available. He's going to now need to reload, but he's got good coverage here. Now, this is basically literally like a spear chucked out of the base. Like everyone came out in a line.
That was pretty scary. Oh my goodness. And again, just a big brawl right in the middle of the town. Tiltamatil taking a ton of damage.
This is not looking good for B Gaming. EL just catching this like a ball to a mitt. 7mm taking a lot of damage. Nipa as well. And don't forget that all of these bat shots are starting to run out of rounds, which means they're going to be even less useful, the ones that survive.
Especially versus EL. They're just going to come and get them. All right, Tamati's down. Nipa goes down. And one by one now, members of B Gaming just dropping like flies. Taki 7mm Samo super low. So low, in fact, that I think they're going to be dead pretty soon.
Yeah, Reflection should kill Tiltamatil. Oh my god, if he made that shot in between the buildings, would have lost my mind.
Oh gosh.
Down goes Tiltamatil. Super Hiroshi, one of 2 survivors left. Samo, nearly dead, like 7mm just was.
Okay, this game was a slaughter.
Yep.
This game was an absolute slaughter. EL Gaming came in to, oh my gosh, they like came in to murder things, and they did.
Well, that
was a rated 18 game there, guys.
Yeah, like I hope the Korean broadcast of this is like the little 19 with a circle around it. I'm like, can't watch that unless you're at least 19 years old.
That was pretty brutal, I have to say.
Like, whoa, that was definitely like, that was over in less than 2 minutes. I feel like that was, to be honest, a pretty bad plan from Carrot Tiger.
From B Gaming.
Or sorry, from B Gaming. Rush out of the city in a line into an open concave of tanks that are designed to crush that kind of movement. The idea, I think, was we've got 3 bat shots, we've got 2 check tanks, we've got a lot of autoloader damage here. Let's try to focus these tanks down. Maybe EL's going to split too far apart from each other so we can actually kill 1 tank, kill a second tank, then eventually have some sort of advantage. But I feel like I just feel like versus EL, of all teams, this is not going to work.
Exactly. And just watching those tanks, I mean, EL, the whole team wasn't even there yet, and yet the accuracy from afar, just incredible. That was a slaughter.
It was nasty, Susie.
That was like
that was not safe for work.
No, that was not. That was like a horror movie, where there's like a guy with a chainsaw and they just go and like hack up everybody.
Yeah, it's like
that's exactly what it was.
It's like the in the horror movie sometimes the suspense is there and like the guy with the chainsaw's there, but the good guy always gets away. I'm like, the good guy did not get away in that last scene that we just watched.
In fact, the suspense music didn't even get to play.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Like you're in the movie and then like a big message comes up like, sorry, this scene has been deleted. Like,
yeah, NC-17 guys, I'm sorry. We can't show this on public. Anyway, so last map is going to be Prokhorovka.
Now Prokhorovka is a map similar to Steps, which is the map that EL has dominated on for many, many seasons.
Yes. And so I mean, after watching that last game, I don't even know what to say. What can B Gaming possibly do?
I don't know. Like, here's what I would do.
Maybe if they played it slow.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the better plan than what we saw in Runeberg. Here's the way to do it in style. This is what I would do. Okay. If I'm 7mm, I'm like, all right, guys, all STB1s, like for Japan, let's fight them. Let's like
with the flags on the side. Like, you gotta get the camo with the flags.
Let's charge into like base capture 2. Let's hope they're on the same side as us, because then if they weren't, then things would get out of control really fast. But we're already doing a crazy thing, and just fight them head on. Use the frontal armor to try to get some early kills, and that's just about as far as the planning goes. And then someone's like, but that's a bad plan, and the guy's like, what's your idea? And he's like, okay, never mind, like, because this is gonna get intense.
All right, guys, let's see how intense this game goes. We're going to get onto Prokhorovka. All right, guys, it looks like match point for EL Gaming. We are on set number 5, and this is Prokhorovka. Let's look at the tanks.
Well, EL Gaming is running 5 215Bs, 150-51, otherwise known as the TVP, and an RU-251. And B Gaming is running a more standard lineup, 2 STB1s,
There's
2
the
140s.
STB1s.
Just 2 of them, unfortunately, they didn't go with the 6 lineup like I wanted them to in E5. But, you know, EL Gaming has used a lot of 215Bs today, and if I was like making the ad campaign for the T15B, I'd be like, it's the tank for every need. Like, it's basically the most medium of all tanks. Like, it kind of serves all sorts of roles. It's good for open maps. It's good for city maps. And if you're a team like EL that's got such good accuracy, no matter how badly things go positionally, if you've got good players on 215Bs, they can almost always escape and turn things around.
All right, well, let's take a look here. B Gaming going to head down. It almost seems like they don't want to face EL head on this time.
Yeah, the one thing that EL sacrifices with this lineup is mobility, but they're all just going to stay together. They look like they are the train going down the train tracks right now.
I was just thinking that. They look like the train going down the train tracks. Super Hiroshi from afar, he's going to try to take a couple of rounds out.
Yeah, well, this is a bad position for EL Gaming to engage into, the high ground advantage, plus just how open it is and how slow their tanks are. They're taking a lot of damage here.
They sure are. Ooh, black.
Very
Ooh,
low.
That was a critical hit. Another one, 1480.
Very, very low here. Nipa will get pushed away, but at what cost? Like, they lost like a third of their hit points for...
At the same time, though, I mean, EL has won games where everyone is down at like 400 HP. So
yeah,
it is not impossible for them to win this.
Their tank lineup is more sturdy overall. Newman does go down, though. Samo and Nipa in a very risky spot. They need to kill Black before Nipa dies.
Yeah. Oh, Nipa.
Nipa's still alive. Oh, Samo misses the shot, though.
Oh, that ricochet. Look at that.
Nipa goes down. Samo
goes down as well. He gets hit from a different angle there.
I actually cannot believe they made this work. Like, I still don't even I can't even fully appreciate what EL just did. They walked into a bad position in every sense of the words, bad position, and still, like, did you see Black just get that kill? Like, what did I just see there? Reflection dies, though.
All right, Tamati and Super Hiroshi both going down the STB and the Batchat. It looks like there's 2 Object 140s left for B Gaming.
B Gaming, like, pauses, like, type PPP. They're like, they got aimbots? And the ref's like, they're EL Gaming and just, like, closes the request.
Oh, my gosh. It's EL. Yeah, you're right. B Gaming they ran up there. They got the high ground. They were doing really well trying to pick off tanks. But EL Gaming, even in the worst position possible, there goes Tiltimatil. EL Gaming wins 5-0.
Getting that as 3 points. And EL is like, they're like, all right, just give us some 215Bs no matter what. We're just going to drive and shoot everybody, and they're going to die. They're going to miss us sometimes, but we'll never do that. We have more health than them, and, you know, we're just going to crush them.
All right, well, so that was it.
That was it.
That was it, 5-0. And actually, during that game, we got notification that match number 3 is actually not going to happen because the Immortals showed up a little too late.
Yeah, they only had a few of their members.
I think only 4 members came in on time, and so with a disqualification, looks like Super Friends are going to go home with a very easy 3 points tonight.
Very important because, you know, that was one of the direct comparisons for those 3 teams at the bottom for getting out, you know, making sure they're not in Silver League next season, so that's important. So
Immortals actually probably dropping down all the way to the end. We're going to take a look at the results then, so we can just kind of organize it a bit. So the first matchup we had was Team Efficiency versus Karen Tigers, and Team Efficiency winning their first legit win with 3 points. It's 5-3. Then match 2, you guys just watched EL Gaming versus B Gaming. EL taking that very easily, 5-0. And then match number 3, PvP Super Friends taking those 3 points because the Immortals were disqualified for tardy behavior. And at this point, I mean, that is huge.
It's pretty huge for whether you're going to the Gold League or Silver League next season. So That's pretty important. Now, with these results, we're going to take a look at our rankings in just a minute, but Karen Tiger is like, they need to win basically every other game in order to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Let's look at the rankings now. Let's take a look at this. So Super Noobs still at first place. They have played 11 games, 28 points. Now EL just won the next one. They're at 24. They can very easily take that first place spot as long as they've played as many games as Super Noobs and win them all.
Yeah. Now Horseman is basically secured in third right now if they continue the trend of winning. But Horseman, B Gaming, and Karen Tigers, think about it, it's a little bit closer than I thought, but top 4 goes to playoffs, and Karen Tigers is not in that right now, which is kind of crazy. Usually it's like, well, Karen Tiger could, like at this point, we'd be like, well, they could never not make playoffs. But in this case, like, they really need to win a lot of games, more than B Gaming does, in order to get there.
All right, now speaking of the bottom tier, Super Friends, Team Efficiency, and Immortals, obviously the last 2 teams here are going to be replaced by the winners of the Silver Series, so this is not where you want to be either.
Yeah.
Team Efficiency slowly making their way up to that 6th place position, and yeah, they're just inching their way. They just make sure they want to secure their spot here in the Gold Series.
Yeah, now Team Efficiency has played 1 less game than Super Friends, and the Immortals could still theoretically win all their games, because when you look at that, like, the Immortals and Super Friends are like 1 win away from each other in points, so like anything could still happen down there. Like, those 3 teams are in a really scary position, because anything could happen with the 3 of them. Like, we could have the positions they're in right now completely change in the next few weeks, because, you know.
Absolutely. No, I know what you mean. It's just funny. Okay, so number 1 and 2, that can go back and forth. Depends on who wins. You know, are they going to continue winning all the time? Then 3rd, 4th, 5th, again, these guys are all like 2 points, 2-3 points away from each other.
Yeah, it's like we've got 3 tiers.
Yeah.
Right now, there's the 1st and 2nd place tier, then there's a 3rd to 5th tier, and then there's a 6th to 8th tier. Like, all 3 of these tiers, everyone is battling for every point they can get to solidify their position. And it's not like, you know, it's not like those 3 tiers are separated from each other, because Super Noobs will play against the Immortals and Team Efficiency will play against EL, but like, you know, it's kind of scary for some of these teams.
This
is
a lot
kind
of
of
fun.
exciting.
It is really exciting, and as the season is now wrapping up, we're like heading towards the end here. February 4th is going to be the playoffs. So we have like, what, less than a month left? But before we talk about that, let's go into the next matchup. So on Thursday, January 14th, we're going to have Team Efficiency versus Super Noobs. Oof, that is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Karen Tiger versus Horseman should be pretty good, though. If Karen Tiger really brings it, doesn't do as much craziness maybe as they did today.
Yeah, I think so too. And then match 3 will be EL Gaming versus PP Super Friends. Super Friends, the ones who just got a free 3 points. But after watching EL play today, they're going to have a lot of practice ahead of them between now and Thursday.
I definitely need to study EL's games from today at the very least.
Okay, yeah, and that's all going to be on Thursday, January 14th at 8 o'clock. That's UTC plus 8, or it's going to be 9 p.m. KST. We're broadcasting out of Seoul, South Korea, and so we are here at 9 p.m. for you guys. But make sure you tune in and come hang out with us, and yeah, it'll be really awesome. Actually.
Should be awesome, so definitely come check it out.
Sounds good. So I think that's it for today, Wolf. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the week. We will see you here on Thursday, and have a very good night, guys.